Hey, what's up, Oblivion? Good to see you. Let's see. What am I trying to do here? That's working. That's working. Okay, I think we're all good. Housekeeping is done. Let's see. Let's rename this guy. Hello, Duck Boy. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're first in a sense, right? You're first in the YouTube universe. Good day, Elmanian. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. There we go. Alrighty, here we go. Hey, what's up, Brian? How are you? Good to see you, man. Been a minute. I think we'll do it like that. We need to go. And then we need a separate terminal for running ngrok. Let's see, ngrok. There we go. That's running. All right, I think we have everything we need. Let's see, what is the name of the thing that where you see all the chat? Oh, this is called. This is a piece of software called SpeakerBot, or not? Sorry, I always get them mixed up. Not SpeakerBot, StreamerBot. Sorry. Here, streamer.bot. It's a pretty awesome piece of software. It's kind of crazy that it's a free piece of software. This is one of the tools I use to stream. It provides the unified stream chat. Thanks for that. Of course, yeah. It's a really crazy good piece of software in my opinion. I didn't even know it existed until 6 months ago. One of my chatters recommended it to me. Another great reason to stream is like people teach you or tell you about things you had no idea existed. Excuse me. All right. So, where were we? I think when we left off yesterday, we were over here in the add account endpoint. LOL. Look at this. Sort the balance. No, this should be source the balance. And then add all of the transactions to the account. Okay. Save. Let's go here. Let's remove these guys. We don't even need the name anymore either. We just need the institution ID and the account ID now. And then in our endpoint, this is going to complain. Let's see, this is going to be plaid account.name, like that. And then everyone in here goes bye-bye. And you're going to have to come from account.balances current. Didn't we add like an extension method or something, I think, for these? Oh, there we go. Balances dot. I could have sworn we added extension methods for these the other day. Accounts, plaid. Yeah, there should be a currency code and available and current. Let's see. Dot current. Oh, it should be sorry, plaid account. We got two different account entities going on here. We got my account entity and the plaid account entity. So we have plaid account current, plaid account dot available, plaid account dot currency code. Okay. So that's that. And now we need to do the transaction stuff, which we're already doing in the sync processor. So let's just copy that. Let's move this into on the account itself. Let's do public void add transactions. Oh no, we don't. Huh. We don't really want our domain model to be aware of the outside world. So that's not really feasible. Okay, re-architecture will come later. Okay, cool. So basically, the first time we add an account, we'll perform a sync. We'll get the cursor. Oh, we have to also do that too. Let's see. Add. Or I think we already did that, didn't we? We're setting the cursor here. Yeah. Cool. So I guess let's run through a quick manual test, and then I think honestly, I think the next step in this project is going to kind of be a boring one, but it's time to grow up a little bit and organize the code because we have shit everywhere. Like everywhere. Hello, Peter Parker. With great power comes great responsibility. Hey, bro, I'm a 16-year-old. I want to break into tech. I'm choosing to dedicate this whole year to be a self-taught full stack dev to build beautiful SaaS applications. What advice do you have for me? Um, well, my advice would be that's awesome. I would think that's a wonderful goal. I love that you're thinking on a long timeline of like a year and not 30 days. I think that's great. The only piece of advice I really have for you is go to this website. I bet chat knows what I'm going to say, but go to this website, which I'll put it in the chat, freecodecamp.org, and do their full stack.
Did we just become best friends?
Kate or Aura, thank you very much for the follow. Full stack certificate, or I'll just say curriculum. That's my only piece of advice. Start with like a well-established curriculum like Free Code Camp, and then have a blast. That's what I would do if it was me. Good morning, 0x187. What is your username a reference to? It's got to be a reference to something, right? Excuse me. Looks like it's an error code in Windows. Video down init timeout fallback BDD. You really need to get a referral code. I don't think they hand those out at Free Code Camp. I think Free Code Camp is a nonprofit. I think it's a charity, basically. Excuse me. Didn't mean to growl into the mic. All right, let's go ahead and run the application. Aspire run. Oh, actually, we needed a migration, don't we? .NET, .NET EF migration. Add cursor to model. Yeah, add cursor to model. No, add cursor to account model. A charity has to advertise? Yeah, maybe. I don't want to extract any money from Free Code Camp, but if I could put some money in their pocket, I'd be happy about that. But you are right. They do have to find donors somehow. I'm questioning whether or not. Let's see. Request plat account ID. Yeah, I did it. I did it properly. Let's see, .NET EF database update. I mean, normally I'm a pretty greedy bastard, but I feel some generosity towards Free Code Camp because I'm not sure where I would be from a programming or coding perspective if I hadn't found their courses. I mean, obviously, I've gotten a lot of help from other resources over the years, especially on the .NET and C Sharp front, but their curriculum, I think, really helped me get up and running. All right, let's go over here to the dashboard. Then we'll head over to this guy. Oh boy. It's a blend of my old usernames. So, but what do the numbers and the letters refer to? Like, what's the reference? Like, I'm guessing there's some reference, right? Refers to Dirty Dozen, aka Dirty Money Syndicate, in a community I'm a part of. Oh, interesting. Dirty Money Syndicate. That sounds like some dark web shit, man. That sounds like some dark web stuff. All right, we actually need to delete these things now. Let's see. So before I do that, I actually need to run some commands in the terminal real quick. So let's open the SQLite project. Oh no. Why did I always misclick? I don't know why you misclick. 187 is a police code for murder in certain areas of the US. Dude, you're into some dark shit, huh? Murder, dirty money. What am I looking for? Physical OS, source, API, bin. There we go. All right, so I have to do a couple things real quick. So we'll do this, copy. So .NET run project. And then do the same thing over here. Copy. Lurk away, Omani, and lurk away. Glad you're here. Okay. Give that a refresh. Go back to the application code. This should be empty now. Got a flush state. First, platypus spank. Continue. All right. So a little introspection into our database here. So we have our institution. We do not have a count yet, but we do have, well, we don't actually have anything. So we just have the institution. So now we need to add an account. Let's see. There should probably be a way to select multiple of these. That's going to get old after a while, but for now, we'll just do one at a time. Yep, that worked. Now we still don't have any transaction data. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why we don't have any transaction data. That's something we're gonna have to figure out. I don't know how to simulate. I don't know how to simulate that. Um, let's see. If you look at the API, let's see, structured logs. We did receive a webhook somewhere in here. Receive transaction webhook with historical update payload. Receive transaction webhook with initial update payload. What are those plaid docs? What are those payloads? API plaid docs. Transactions. Okay. So yeah, it looks like, hold on. Apparently this is paged. And I'm not handling that in my code. Has more? Where does it say that? Let's see. Transaction update status, accounts, added, modified, removed. Let's see. Next cursor has more represents if more than the requested count of transaction updates exist. If true, the additional updates can be fetched by making an additional request with cursor. If it has more as true, it's important to pull all available pages to make it less likely for underlying data changes to conflict with pagination. Ah, okay. So that's something we need to do, apparently. I wonder why this modified. What does this mean? Transactions that have been modified on the item since cursor ordered by ascending last modified time? Huh. I guess let's look at I guess let's go back here. They have some code that we can read. Sync transactions. Save new transactions to the database.
Did we just become best friends?
Fazan, thank you very much for the sub.
Did we just become best friends?
Dahlem, thanks so much for the sub. Appreciate you guys. Very kind of you. Hello, Kate. Thanks for following on Twitch. Appreciate you. Okay. Apparently we need to implement pagination because like why wouldn't you need to do that? All right, we're gonna have to. Okay, this is kind of funky. Um, AI's mother was a snowblower. Good morning, Inspire. Good morning. I love that people like to insult AI now. I love that people refer to AI as clanker now. It's like a common insult I hear. All right. We're going to implement some pagination logic. Pagination logic. So we have a plaid service. But that really, I mean, honestly, the plaid service spans across the account. Get item. Let's see, public. Async task. This is going to return. What do we want this to return? Let's just do this. We'll do sync transactions, async. We'll have something that we pass in there. For now, just return task dot from results. Or sorry, task dot completed. LOL, task of task. Yeah. Let's just return. Okay, so the idea is here we need to do some work, but we need to do asynchronously. The problem I'm having thinking about, I guess, or that my brain is kind of stuck on, is the fact that we're calling the sync endpoint here, and we're using that response to update the balance for the account, right? But if this guy, so basically I need a check that says something like if sync transaction response dot has more, right? I guess put that down here. If this is true, then I want to get more transactions. But I only want to do the account update, I think, once. It feels like there's too much happening in a single. Kurtz was refactoring code for 5 hours or so. Good luck refactoring yours too. You'll probably do it faster. I won't do it faster because I get so hung up on making trying to refactor things into the right thing. I spend way too much time thinking about it. This is C sharp, 100%. Inspire. As a Clanker owner, I find it rude. Funny how people are wanting to install AI, therefore they personify it. Yeah, it is quite ironic. Voltaire, AI is just trying to be their best AI selves. It's the AI overlords forcing them to work on the server farms that are real bad guys. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not the AI that's the problem. It's not. Ilmani and Clinker sounds more of like an insult for robot for me. An insult for AI, I think, is going to sound more like slot maker or slot machine. Okay. I'm fine with that logic. Realizing it's better than you, insult it. I mean, so, on the contrary, the AI is doing amazingly well. It's only the fault of those provoking and servicing it. Yeah. Oh, the poor. I mean, who's gonna fight for the AI's rights? Sloppy sounds kind of cute. I'm surprised nobody's made a model named Sloppy yet. Uh, yeah. Okay. I don't even know how I want to approach this. I'm kind of stumped. I'm not stumped, but I'm kind of. I don't see a way to do this in a not ugly way. I guess let's just do this. Let's do it. Let's do it the ugly way first, and then we can make it pretty after. So basically, the only thing we need to do is we just need to do a check here to say if sync
Did we just become best friends?
Alejandra. Yeah, I
Did
think
we
it's
just become
how you say
best
your name. Thanks for
friends?
the sub. Razak, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. They did say something. I guess actually this should be while. Excuse me. They said something about an error in here. See, when handling paginated results, if transactions sync mutation during pagination error is returned during pagination, restart the process in the previous bullet with the old cursor that was temporarily preserved. Once Hasmore is false, it is safe to stop preserving the old cursor. Huh. So does that mean start the whole paging over or just start? I can't tell. Does this mean start the whole paging process over or does this mean just start from the wherever you were in the process? When handling paginated results, if transaction sync mutation during pagination error is returned during pagination, restart the process in the previous bullet with the old cursor that was temporarily yeah, I think it just means refetch the page. I think is what it means. Um, so while that's true, we're going to do this. And let's have a variable here called has more. And let's var next cursor equals okay. Well, actually, I guess we could just reassign, couldn't we? Do that. And then your cursor is going to be sync transaction dot cursor like this. And then for each response, we just want to perform this action again. Oops.
Did we just become best friends?
Adcam, I think is how you say your name. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you guys. Hey, Eric. Good morning. Good morning, Jonathan. You have been watching your reels, first time live. Well, it's good to see you, Lauren. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Remember, it boils down to multi-dimensions of fine-tuned polynomial functions. The fact it's achieving anything remotely smart is an amazing accomplishment. It is impressive, yeah. I mean, LLMs are definitely a pretty cool piece of technology, but there's a lot of weird obsession, in my opinion, with AI right now. The current just this current yeah, it's almost like a fixation almost is very strange to me. You know what I'd like to see added to CodeCamp? Assembly. You want them to teach people how to code in assembly on free CodeCamp? That seems wild. I'm surprised CodeCamp doesn't have assembly. I mean, it has quite a popular or rather famous language. I'm assuming you're talking about free CodeCamp. I honestly don't know if that's what you guys are talking about. Garage, what's up? Hello, good to see you. Jonathan, I wonder, are you utilizing AI to make reels? Yeah, I have a tool that I built. Yeah, I have a tool that I built called, let's see, Stream. This was one of the tools from last year. Hello, Cyberlanka. Coffee Panda's doing well. Thanks for checking in. I'm finding a lot of executives and project managers are fixated on AI because if they can squeeze out the same end result with less people, that brings costs down. It's
Voltaire's
dumb.
puppet is telling you to drink some coffee.
I get it, but it's dumb. Yeah. I'm right there with you, Eric. Like 100% right there with you. I understand the rationale, right? But I also find it kind of strange. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about, if I started a business tomorrow, like part of the fun of having a business is working with people, like building something together. Like the idea of kind of hollowing out organizations to just be a bunch of agents doing work for you. I mean, I get it. Like I understand like the economics of it, but at the same time it's like part of accomplishing things part some one of the things that makes accomplishing stuff fun is doing it with other people, right? So it's just kind of a weird obsession to me that people are obsessed with finding a way to just spend all their time working with LLMs. It's kind of a weird spot to be in. Also, Voltaire, thanks for the
Did we just
coffee.
become best friends?
Caffeinated Minds. Now a, that's a channel I can get behind. I learned assembly in school and I loved it. Nice. Yeah, I have not written any assembly. I want to take a 37 signals approach, which is similar to what you said. Yeah, 30. I think DHH's take on AI is right. I think they have a smart approach to it. It seems like he's warming up more and more to the idea of AI, like based on the last interviews I've listened to him in over the last year or two. Seems like he's warming up more. Um, but yeah, who was that asked about that? Oh, Jonathan. Yeah, this is the tool that I'm using to help me with making short form content. So what it basically does is it takes my stream, it transcribes it, and then it outputs a JSON file that looks like this. It does like a semantic analysis of the transcription. Where is it? And so it basically just gives me like, it basically just returns a list of like, here's some clips that might work from the stream. And then I use FFmpeg to chop those up into small little clips like this. And then I just go through and review each one manually. And probably the hit rate on it is probably like maybe 30%. So like of all the videos that it actually like suggests, I might post a third. Um, but it saves me a shit ton of time because I used to just manually scrub through all that stuff myself. So that was a fun project from last year that we built. I built it on stream too, so you can go back and look at how we did that. That was fun. It would still be cool to put a UI on it, but we haven't. It's just a CLI tool right now. Hey, what's up, Minister of Defense? Good to see you. Okay, we do a lot of exploit development, which requires it. Oh, really? What kind of work are you in where you're doing exploit development? That seems kind of intense. Also, way to just casually drop it. Like, yeah, we do exploit development. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. All right, so um, if sync transaction response dot transaction update status. So how do I check for how do I check for that? I'm not sure. Transaction update status. Unknown. Not ready. Initial update complete. Handling if mutation sync mutation during pagination error is returned. Okay, so I guess we just have to check this error property. If error is transaction update something or other. I'm not really sure how to check that. Error type. Maybe error. It looks like error type is strongly typed. Oh no, it's not. Error type's just a string. Error code's a string too. See if we can do a Google search in there. Or sorry, a doc search. Okay, restart the API response. Oh yeah, we should increase that to 500 for sure. So let's do count. How do we increase that? The number of transactions to fetch. 500. Let's do the max. Let's max it out. Okay. But the way we check for this is we say if error code is this. It's just so weird that that's a hard-coded value, but if error.error code is this, then we need to continue. Otherwise, it's safe to do this. Sync transaction response equals new sync transaction response. So if the original response has more, then we'll start fetching the next one. If the next response has an error, that particular error code, then we will just continue, which means we'll come back up here and we'll try again without moving the cursor. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and replace the existing response with the one that we just got, which will advance the cursor and we'll reset this. And then we will process the transactions for that response. Yeah, I think that'll work. This is where we need to sit down and write some tests. I'm trying to avoid doing it because I know it's going to be very boring and very tedious, but we need to sit down and write some tests. We also need to centralize this logic because we're having it duplicated in a bunch of places. Like I guess like theoretically we actually need to take this whole piece of logic right here and we need to copy it. We need to copy this. This is so ugly. But we need to copy this to the other processor. Let's see. Close sync processor. We have to come over here and do the same thing. Let's see, for each account, yep. Sync transactions. We get the plot account, and then we have to do this. Oh, we have to do this. This isn't request. This would be, what would this be? Whatever we're using up above here. This guy. Or no, this guy, sorry. I mean, I can't imagine any of my bank accounts having 500 plus transactions in a single, even in a single day. So that kind of feels silly. Let's see, plaid param, oh, plaid client. But I guess you just never know. Let's see, a cursor. Yeah. All right, let's try to figure out how we can abstract this, because this is a lot. There's a lot here, and particularly this piece of logic where we have to fetch. I need to write this out. So basically, we fetch the initial page of transactions from this initial page. Let's see, and then we use this page to derive the balance of the account. What else? We add transactions. We continue to loop. So I wonder. I wonder if the right move is just to because to me, it doesn't make sense to update the balance of the account on every single page, because we could, like, in like a very short span of time, we could retrieve, page 1 to, let's say it's 1 to 100 pages. Like, that could happen over the course of a few seconds. We'd end up with 100 balances for the account. And really, the likelihood that the balance of the account is going to change, I mean, I guess it could change, but the likelihood's pretty low, but it could. Okay. I guess I'll just suck it up and do it. So let's go to the plaid service in the infra project. So plaid service. And let's just add a sync transactions for account is what we'll call this. And each one of these is going to return, what did they call it? A transactions sync response is what we'll call it. Transaction sync response. This. Transaction. See. Transactions. It's plural. Plural. Okay, and for this, we'll need the account. Yeah? I don't know. I don't know why I'm asking you guys. I should know. What if a page fails in between fetches? Let's see. If a page fails in between fetches, we just don't continue. Like, we continue fetching. We won't advance the cursor, so we'll just retry to get the page again. That's what we'll do. I love tests. It's a little dopamine hit when I write tests and they pass. Yes, it is a dopamine hit. And I like to write tests too. I just know for you guys, it won't be very interesting for me to sit here and write a bunch of unit tests or integration tests. So I've been trying to put off doing that stuff until I'm off stream. But the problem is I haven't worked on this project off stream at all. So I've just built up this mountain of debt. Of things that I need to go and do that are boring and tedious. Quack. Chat equals rubber ducky. Yeah, chat does equal rubber ducky. Let's see, Cyberlink. Steven, shouldn't these be in some sort of queue with retries and such? Yeah, so they are going to be, or some of it's going to be processed in a queue. Some of it's going to be done inline. There is retrying already built in. I have a resilience handler on my HTTP client. It'll automatically retry failed requests. I think anything that's like above a 400, I think it'll retry. So there is retrying built in already to my HTTP client. Free from ad jail. Laugh my ass off. We doing big boy stuff over here. Okay, you're in cybersecurity, but you're developing exploits. That's fascinating. Let's see. I had an interview Friday. The interviewer was painfully neutral, which made me think I didn't get it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes interviewers just aren't terribly friendly people. Jonathan, need to have a peek. Still learning structure, fundamentals, working on an offline spa that saves the disk. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, man, keep going. Keep going. Kurt Kennedy, signed an offer letter yesterday, been 3 years since a W-2. Dude, that's fantastic. Congratulations,
Did we just
man.
become best friends?
Congratulations, dude. That'll be I hope you're excited. I mean, obviously being an employee is never the most fun thing, but congratulations, man. That's awesome. Hello, Bolt. Good to see you. Interviews are hard to give. Yeah, I just think there's way too much pomp and ceremony that has been put around the hiring process in general. It's just a bunch of bullshit. There's just a bunch of corporate bullshit that's been wrapped around interviewing and hiring that just needs to be. We need to peel a lot of those layers away. It should just really be a conversation between two people. And we put so much ceremony and so much pomp and circumstance around it that I think, the interviewers are just employees trying to collect a paycheck, and the people being interviewed are just folks who are trying to get into a place where they can earn a paycheck. And it should just be two people having a conversation about what one needs and what one can offer. And shouldn't be like this. It almost feels like a game to me. It shouldn't be a big game. That's what it almost feels like. Kirk, yeah, we're working in the game industry. My wife and I are building the farm out here, so it's just a matter of time until working is more of a choice. Oh, very cool, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, so you got multiple irons in the fire. That's awesome, dude. Cyberlunka might be a good use of LLMs, tedious testing. Well, I like the tedious testing. That's the thing. I like it. It's just I know that for watching somebody stream, it might not be the most interesting thing. That's why I say that. that's why I use the word tedious. To me, it's going to be a blast. But for everybody else, it might just be really boring to watch. Okay, so we just need access token, cloud account metadata, and cursor. Eric, that's how I give interviews to my company. For skilled labor, there's a portion just so I can see where they are at. But overall, I like to have a conversation because passion and culture fit is huge. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think culture eats anything tactical for breakfast. It's just if you don't have good culture, I don't even know what you're doing. Uh, I could see like for skilled labor, I totally understand the need to assess their skills, right? Yeah, that's totally normal. There just seems to be so much pressure on the whole circumstance, you know? It just doesn't seem like it needs to be that high stakes. Bolt, I'm just a fresh graduate, and this AI hype is genuinely scaring the hell out of me. 15 applications, 3 rejections, 12 ghosted. I'm sorry, Bolt. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the AI hype thing is. I wouldn't let it scare you. Maybe that would be. I would say, like, don't let it scare you. But yeah, it's. Because I think that's the goal of a lot of the people who are doing all this AI hype is they want you to feel scared. They want you to feel uncertain. And a lot of that is driven out of the desire to sell things to people. um, like I've seen like this whole crop of things pop up that's like agentic engineering courses and like prompt engineering guides and agentic development certifications. There's like this whole marketplace now that's sprung up around this. Yeah, it's a lot of fear mongering. You'll find something though. Stick with it, Bolt. You'll get it. 15 applications. You've got probably another 500 to submit. Hello, Eric. So you can get taken to a lawsuit for asking the wrong questions in an interview. So I have some sympathy for the interviewers. I guess that's fair. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, you don't. There's some legality around that. I can understand that. See, Garage, what are we building again? We are building an application to try to be able to visualize financial data, my personal financial data, in like one pane of glass. Kirk, I applied to over 8,000 apps on LinkedIn. It's a grind. Yeah, it's a grind. And I think I've said that, and I've made a lot of videos about that. That like the job hunting process is just like it's like sales and marketing for a business. It's just a numbers game. I know the security in cybersecurity is deceiving, but there are lots of offensive security jobs out there. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's very cool. I did not know that was a thing. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that world at all. Getting ghosted feels worse than a rejection, though. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like it's a numbers. It's like, I mean, this might sound like sexist, but like, it's just like getting your first date with a girl. Like, it's a you can't take it. You can't take rejection personally, right? Like, some people just don't like you, and that's okay. They're allowed to not like you. um, and so you just move on to the next one. So it's a numbers game. Like there's so many fish in the sea, you know. I know the world wants to try to convince you that the world is full of scarcity and not abundance, and that every job you apply for has to be the job, but that's just not the way it works. There's so many companies, so many opportunities. There's opportunities that you don't even know about, companies you don't even know about. Like you just have to keep banging on the door until somebody lets you in, which is shitty. I know. Like I said, I it sucks. I've been there. I've never been in a position where somebody has like begged me to come work for them. I've always had to just apply, 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 apply. You know, Garage, put in the code that puts out your more money. Oh, yeah. I wish that was that easy. Just add some dollars to my bank account. Maybe Kate can develop an exploit to do that. Let's see, a hint towards feeling ghosted. A lot of company positions are up even though the positions are already filled. Sometimes they get sorted by simple sampling methods or nowadays AI detections. Or sometimes a certain secretary just hasn't been doing their job. Don't overthink it. Yeah, that's this last sentence. What Oblivion said in this last item. Sometimes a certain secretary hasn't been doing their job. You wouldn't believe how many things in corporate America just happen the way they happen because some asshole is just dropping the ball, which is really crazy, but that's the truth. Good morning, Fly Fisher. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member, man. 2 streams in a row. You're on it. Sales is where the money is at. Hard job, but commission-based gigs is where money is during recessions and layoff. Yeah, but I think there's money in other things besides sales. I mean, granted, yeah, I understand sales is a valuable skill set, and you have the potential to earn, but I think there's money in other jobs. Kate, I lost my first IT opportunity for informing my interviewer their login field sanitize or oh, so basically you found an issue. That's hilarious. Oh, the didn't sanitize. Okay, that's hilarious. I can't believe that would be the reason for you losing the job. I would think they would look positively upon that. What is BIOS? I think if you're talking about BIOS, like capital letters, right? That's basic input output system, right? Is what that stands for. Stevie K official. Let's get cracking. This is what the stream looks like when it's cracking, Stevie. This is this is it, man. I I talk to chat. I occasionally write some code, but for the most part, I chat and I drink coffee. this is what this is what Let's Get Cracking looks like. Sometimes companies are required to try to recruit from the outside before moving someone inside. They'll make a job post with either outrageous requirements or never intend to fill it to begin with. So someone within the company can transition while still maintaining policy compliance. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds plausible. Nowadays, it's known as UFI. It's the firmware that your computer's motherboard loads and executes to find and repair the hardware with the bootloader of choice. There you go. Garage. What Oblivion said right there. She's on Twitch. I don't know if you can. You should be able to see it on screen, but that's your answer for what you're talking about. Unified Extensible Firmware Interface instead of BIOS, which is legacy. I had no idea. I actually did not know that. So I learned something new today. Thanks for asking the question, Garage. See? You helped educate me. Eric, tell us, Steven, how to make a thing later to sell it for big money? I don't know. If I knew the answer to that, my life would look wholly different. you know? my life. I think the secret. I think ultimately the secret probably comes down to solving somebody's problem. Like solve a problem that's painful enough that people are willing to turn over their money to you. That's the answer. I don't know what problem to solve, but I think that's the ultimate answer. I don't know. I have a little intrusive thoughts itch in my brain to drop uh, a single quote in almost any login field I come across. Yeah, Kate sounds like someone you wouldn't want to fuck with. That's funny. All right, so we'll do string access token string account ID. And then we're going to do while. And we're actually going to make this an async enumerable. Do I need a separate package for that? What's the using? System collections.generic using system.collections.generic. Okay, and then we'll say let.
Did we just become best friends?
Who followed? I missed it. Who was it? Rami, please. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Solving a problem is guaranteed money. Find a solution for a problem everyone has, and you're filthy rich. It's frustrating because it sounds so easy. It sounds like God. I can do that. But it's not that easy. So we'll say while response dot has more is cannot implicitly convert from bool. Okay, so we say while response is not null and response has more. Response well, no, it's not gonna always be. So we'll do response equals await flag client. Let's just grab this code right here. This will be. Oh, we also need the cursor. So I wonder if this actually should be plaid account metadata. And then this can be count metadata like this. Okay. And then I guess the question is if response dot error code is that message, then what? Continue? Hmm. This is uh this is this is too much thinking for this early in the morning. um the question is though, do we really want to do this? So I'm just thinking about this. If account metadata dot cursor flat ID, so we're just gonna start. We're gonna start from wherever this is, but then as we loop, we need to move the cursor. Um, so it's almost like we need to say var cursor equals account metadata dot cursor, like that. So that's where we start. And then if we encounter this error, we don't want to advance the cursor. We just want to try the request again using whatever the cursor was. Now, if we don't encounter that error, we just want to advance the cursor to the next place. Like that, I think. Now there is a question about like if one of these does, right now what we're doing is we're returning the whole response to the caller. So even if the response has some other error message, which I wonder if that's correct. I don't know what to do. I think we probably want the caller to decide what they want to do with the responses. Like, how do you want to respond to the responses? That's up to you as the caller. This method shouldn't dictate, like, this method is purely here just to allow for a convenience of paging through all the transaction data. The caller can decide what to do with each individual response. The only response that we're handling explicitly is this sync error because it has to deal with pagination. So sync transaction is not really a good name for this method. This should actually be something like retrieve transactions for account async or page transactions. I don't know. That doesn't seem like an accurate method because we're not really syncing transactions. We're just retrieving those. In any event, I think this dries up our code a lot. So let's go back to our add account endpoint. And I don't know why there's all these errors over here. I'm on the struggle bus this morning. I'm not gonna lie, guys. My brain is working at half speed. At half speed. Okay, so then what would we do? I guess here, this is instead of doing all this shenanigans, we would actually do this, where we say await for each var response in plaid service, which we don't have a plaid service here yet, so we'll say from services plaid service and we'll say get sync. Then we'll pass in our access token. And we'll pass in our plaid account metadata, which we don't have. Oh. I'm on the struggle bus. Flyfisher said Charmin figured it out. Yes, they did. They did. Whoever was the guy who came up with toilet paper, man, he was a smart feller. I'm too lazy to deal with all the legal trouble, so I prefer just to work for others. That's a perfectly valid response. Alright, so I have this chicken or the egg problem right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this is starting initial cursor. This is gonna be account ID. We're gonna make those be variables or parameters. So we'll say string account ID, string initial cursor, which means then we can come back to our endpoint and we can say, instead of trying to do that, we can say request dot plaid account ID, and then it will just take null. We'll make null the default value of that param. That. Let's go ahead and put this on new line. The guy who made it is the guy selling tracing paper as toilet paper. It's TP in name only. Why? You're saying he made it because it's probably so inexpensive to manufacture? Yeah, I mean, I guess. All right. Now we're in business. So this is where I was talking about. This is the difficult piece of this. So basically, now we have a really nice, convenient way to page over the transactions. The thing is, though, on the first page, so in this particular situation, the first page, we want to add the account to our database. Only. And then I guess subsequent pages, we only want to add transactions. Or I should say subsequent pages we don't. So it's almost like we want to do like an upsert. Does Entity Framework support that? Like an upsert? Entity Framework upsert. Let's see, EF Core does not have a built-in native upsert operation. Manual check. I don't really want to have to do that. Insert or update the lazy way. This sounds like what I'm looking for. Oh, I don't know. That doesn't look like the easy way. That looks messy. All right, we're gonna pseudo code this up really quick. So I think what we'd like to do on each turn is we'd say add or update account, add balance if account balance has changed from most recent entry. Right? The reason I say that is because, i.e., if page 1 balance says 110 and page 2 says balance and page 2 says balance 110, and we are we're like in this scenario we're seconds apart, right? If we're seconds apart and the balances haven't changed, we don't need to add a balance. And then add non-pending added transactions. Add update any modified transactions. And what else? Mark any transactions as removed. So that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot happening inside here that probably needs to be centralized and coordinated somewhere. Probably some sort of repository or something for the data access stuff. Add or update account. So what's that going to look like? My foot fell asleep. Oh no! Why is the cursor so large? Is my cursor large? Oh, you mean like the NeoVim cursor? Probably because I'm zoomed in. Nice to watch some code after watching all that on the news. Yeah, yesterday was kind of a crazy day for news. I'm guessing today is going to be a similar type of day. See you, Kate. Thanks for hanging out. Also, hello, Mason. Oh man, my foot fell asleep. Sheesh. No fun. Something happened? Yeah, my the news thing we were referring to the Iran US war that kicked off yesterday. That's what we were talking about. Your transaction cursor 500 is pretty large. Oh, we just set it to the max value. We just maxed it out because that's they said in their documentation. Where is it? They basically said to reduce the frequency of this error, you can increase the count parameter in the transaction sync from the default value to a higher value, such as the maximum of 500, which will reduce the number of pages in the API response. Doesn't it feel like this is almost uh, I guess to me this almost feels like it could be centralized. Okay. So I want to change the approach here. So we're gonna fuck this all up. So here's what we're gonna do. Um, we're gonna delete all of it. Delete, because that was dumb. That was dumb. We are going to delete that. We are going to delete that. And the only thing we're gonna do from a database perspective here is we're gonna say account metadata, add the account. That's all we're gonna do. And we can delete this. We're not going to make that call. Right? No, we're not going to make that call. We're not going to do that. Now you're going to bitch because to create the account metadata, we need we need the plaid information for the account. So the thing about that is well, the thing about that is we had all that information here. So remove the current balance. Yeah, remove that. Remove that. which means we can come back here and we can say cursor. So this would be request dot plaid account ID, request dot plaid account name, and then this is actually going to be null. This is a nullable property. And it's going to start null. And this doesn't exist. Okay. Like that. Now everybody's happy again. So what we're going to do differently so that we can centralize all this synchronization logic in one place is we're going to do this using our queue that we set up. So what we'll do is we'll basically say from services, give me your iasync queue, and let's call this, what do I call this? Sync transaction queue item, maybe? This doesn't exist right now. But it will. It will exist. Let's see. And then here, what we're going to do is instead of the sync updates processor being based on this webhook, which is a plaid thing, we are going to create a new type called record sync. Let's call it sync updates queue item. That. Hey, good morning, Gun Highs. Good to see you. Learn code self, sir. I quit my 2D animation job in learning MERN-stack. I hope my decision is good. I don't think so. Yeah, I'm just going to share with you my thoughts. I wouldn't have quit my job, but that's just me. I'm kind of risk adverse. I wish you all the best, though, in learning the MERN-stack and getting a job in whatever you're hopefully wanting to get a job. But if it was me, I probably would have kept the 2D animation gig and learned MERN-stack on the side. But that's just me. Yes, yes, I'm happy. C# is on the menu. C# is on the menu. Okay, and then let's change this to sync updates queue item. Now everyone is going to start complaining. So institution, so we need item ID. So public string institution item ID. Okay. Then is that the only thing we need? I guess so. That was the only piece of information we needed from that webhook. Okay, so that makes it very easy. Let's actually turn this into your standard that. So what this allows us to do now, if it's not doesn't make sense, is now what we can do is here we can do sync updates queue item. And we can just say, okay, great, you added the account. We're going to process the synchronization in the background. So we'll say queue dot enqueue async new, and we can do institution. Add institution metadata dot item ID. And also wants the cancellation token. Like that. Which then means what that means is then all that coordination of the like paging through the transactions and all that stuff, that can all happen in one place. Because then we can go to our webhook endpoint. Webhook, oh, that's wrong. Webhook endpoint. And instead of doing this, we'll do sync updates queue item like that. And we will say new webhook dot item ID. Yeah. And now all of this can be coordinated in one place, which is that background processor. Here. So all of this can be coordinated here. Which is I think that's the right choice.
Did we just become best friends?
Throbbing 22. Nice username, man. Sharam,
Did
he
we
is
just become best friends?
Dan N. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it.
Did we just become best friends?
James P. Thanks for subbing. Man, we had a lot of subs in a row there. He is a veteran in the space of software engineering. I don't know what you're talking about, Sharon. I don't know who you're talking about. You're probably not talking about me, though. I wouldn't call myself a veteran in the space of software engineering. That's for sure. Yeah, I think this is going to be better. So I think this is going to work better for us. So now what we can do is once we get here, we can say await for each var response in plaid service, which we don't have a plaid service yet. How do we get one of those? We ask for it. So instead of you working with the plaid client directly, we'll say plaid service. Plaid service. Plaid service. Oh, yeah. There we go. Why is everybody angry? Yeah, we'll fix that. Don't worry. Don't you worry, little head. We'll fix it. Do you ever do leak code challenges? No, I really don't. President Litchfield. The closest I get to leak code every year is Advent of Code. Not because I don't think leak code isn't valuable. It's just I only have so much time to dedicate to working with my own code every day, and for me, I'd much rather spend that time like building actual useful things for either myself or other people versus just grinding leak code. And that's just a personal preference thing. That's not a I'm doing something correct and you're doing something wrong, right? It's just there's only so much time in the day and we all have to decide how to spend it, you know? Count ID. Cursor. Consider calling configure. Oh. Should I? Guess that's fine. Cannot convert from system.gwid. Oh, yeah, you're right. That should be plaid. Well, that's one long line of code we need to. Oh my goodness. What do we do here? We could do this. We could do. Let's take this all out. We could do var responses. We could do this. Put this on new line. It's not particularly pretty code, but it'll work. And then we'll do responses. Okay. And then for each response, we need to decide what happens, right? So this can go away.
Did we just become best friends?
Singwoon fan, I think is how you say your username. Thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate that. James, what are you doing? Why not do it in Cobalt? I don't know how to write Cobalt, James, unfortunately. But what we're doing is we're building a personal finance app for myself. Good morning, Get It Fast too. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, if respawn. I think we need to log this somehow. I don't know what you do if a page fails. Really? You probably should retry it, honestly. But I think for now I'll just log it. I'll just say failed to retrieve page. Let's see. Unable to, let's see, failed to sync transactions for account. There should be something like response dot next cursor has more request ID. The request ID would probably be good to capture. Wonder what the error has on it. Error message, display message, error type, request ID. I guess I'll just log the request ID for now. Let's see, failed to sync for account. I'm going to say what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for request for account, like that. We'll say response dot request ID. Okay. And we'll just continue. We'll just move on to the next response if it fails. Then we want to get the Plaid account. So this would be response. So if Plaid account Caffeinated Minds, did you write that chat app on the right? It looks neat. Oh no, I can't take credit for any of that. That is a application called StreamerBot. StreamerBot. Yeah. I have yet to build any softwares so cool. I wish though. I wish. Let's see, at Caffeinated Minds. This is the app that is providing a unified chat. It does all kinds of cool stuff. It'll do alerts. It'll do text. It'll help you do text to speech. You can set up all kinds of different commands and automation. It's very cool. It's made by, I think, who's the guy that created it? What's his name? Nate. This is the guy that created it. I think he at one point was a streamer or did some streaming, and then kind of is focusing on this now full time. But this is his GitHub. If you want to go give him a follow, creator of streamer.bot. Oh, whoops! I sent that to everybody. Sorry, guys. I meant to send that to just to Twitch. That's my bad. Will follow. Thank you. Of course, yeah. I think it's really cool that somebody. I mean, the crazy thing is it's free. It's free and it's open source. I I did buy him a coffee just to try to say thank you, but it's pretty wild, honestly. It's a really 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 powerful piece of software that you can do a lot with. I'm over here just trying to stumble through how to sync transaction data into my app, and some people are building kick-ass software. We are not the same. Let's see, applied account. So basically, the situation we're in at this point in time is we're trying to sync. Let's see, failed to sync transactions for request, and then I guess I'll log the same thing here. The only difference is instead of looking at the response error message, the error message is just no corresponding count received in plaid response. Okay, and then here's where we get the balance at. Now, I think honestly, I'm fine with this. Let's just leave a note here. Note, this probably is stupid. uh, uh, this is creating a balance entry for each page of transactions retrieved. Probably nothing has changed. But for now, I don't want to think about that right now. Then for each added transaction, we do this. Yeah. Then finally stop. So there's several loops in here. All right, so we have a for each to loop over each account that's connected to an institution for this particular item that we're processing. For each account, we're then going to sync the transactions for that account, which then gets us into this loop because we have to pay. There could be more than one page of transactions for that account. Let's see. And then if the response is successful, if it's not successful, then we're just going to skip it and just log a warning. If for whatever reason, this should never really happen because all we're doing here is we're basically saying, okay, get me the plat account for the corresponding, for my app's corresponding account. And if there isn't one, then we'll just log a warning so we know that something funky happened. Otherwise, we're going to update our account, right? So the way we update our account for not right now is we add a balance entry for the account, and then we add all the transactions that are in that response, which is our so we're 3 loops in right now. we're let's see, we have for each, you know, I mean, what can I say? You know, I know how to write it. I know how to write code. Mason don't want to do that the event driven way. What do you mean, Mason? Are loops bad? I mean, they're not necessarily bad. I don't really think there's a way to get around doing what we're doing right now because we have to do because of the way this data comes back from Plaid. Because the webhook, excuse me, the synchronization webhook comes in for the particular item, which is basically, you can think of the item as like the institution. And then you have to call an endpoint with that institution's identifier. And then they hand you back. Actually, hold on. Now that I think about this, can I do this? I think I might be able to do this with fewer API calls, maybe. I think. Mason, basically, it's event consumer way, so you publish. Yeah, hold on, let me write the concept. Yeah, for sure, go ahead. No, but I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I'm would happy to see your idea, but I'm perfectly fine with the way we're doing it right now. I think I can do this in fewer. I think if I understand the way the Plaid API works, I think I can do this in fewer requests. But that's kind of probably an optimization thing. I do, though, however, need to save the cursor. So we add the balance, we add the transaction. Oh, we need to save the we're not saving the for each account. So after we do all this processing, we need to say await. We need to do await app db context, or sorry, underscore app db context dot save changes async. Consider call. Oh, that's fine. Let's see, Plaid, webhook, endpoint, message queue, worker. So you may have, excuse me, you may have missed, Mason. You may have missed the refactor, but we are in currently a worker process. So the way this will work is, sorry, hold on, let me find the. So we're in a queue processor. So the way right now the flow is basically exactly what you described. So we start at the we have a couple different places where we can enter this flow from, but like in the webhook, for example, we basically we receive the webhook from Plaid. Sorry, I almost said Stripe, from Plaid. Then we just basically add an item to our queue, and then we have a hosted service. Where is it? We have a hosted service right here that just runs a little while loop in a background worker, and then it injects a particular processor for that particular type of item. Where is that guy at? Right here. Because background workers in .NET are singletons, so if you want to use any kind of scope service, you have to actually create a scope in the background worker, and then we use that scope service to process the item. So basically what you described is exactly what we're doing, Mason. And then the processor has all the logic for this stuff. Then we register all that in DI. Where do we do it in DI? We do it over here in DI. Do it all right here, which actually is a good call out because I needed to update this. And I'm just using a channel. I'm just using an in-memory queue too, if you're wondering how I'm. Whoops. If you're wondering about the backing store for the queue, it's just a in-memory queue right now. Using channels. Bradley Spice and reviewing LLM code as your job. I'd rather go become a goose farmer. Yeah, that's how I feel, Bradley. I'm very much in that same camp, and I will be sad if that's something I actually have to do because I've really enjoyed working in tech with code. But I honestly know I don't have an appetite to do that work, to just be a full-time AI code reviewer. I just don't have the drive or the passion, and so yeah, I would go do something else as well. Lawrence, my employer is exploring cloud agents picking up product backlog items specifically refined for LLM. Only code reviews would be left for devs. Please convince me this won't work so I can keep my fun job. So the thing is I'm 100% convinced that if a bunch of engineers sat down and wanted to make that work, what you're describing work, they could do it. Like, I believe in the power of human ingenuity and human engineering. Like, we put men on the moon, we develop nuclear reactors, like, we do big, crazy, difficult things. And so I have no doubt that we could engineer a system that puts all the necessary constraints and context to make an LLM be able to do that. The question is, like, first off, is like, how much time and money will go into it, right? How much effort to make it reliable enough? And then two, do you actually have engineers who want to spend their time doing that work? Like, that's the question. I probably would be interested in doing the work of building the system, like building the harness, but I wouldn't want to sit and review LLM code all day. That sounds like a nightmare. Bradley, if you saw what he said, it's worse. His employer is trying to use agents. Yeah. Yeah, that would be tough. I mean, it sounds like an interesting engineering problem, right? But then again, I wouldn't want to do any of the manual code reviews or anything like that. That doesn't sound fun. You know what? I wonder if I could. I wonder if I could abstract this. Bet I could. We'll do that. We'll do that when it becomes an issue. When it becomes a problem. Okay. Now the last thing I think I need to do in that processor is I need to save the cursor on the account. Okay, so actually, if this fails, failed to sync, or like, yeah, this actually we should break. And then what we can do is we will say, I'm gonna remove that. It's annoying me. I think this should also break. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have to persist the cursor to the database. And so if we are looping over the cursor and one of the requests fails, I don't want to skip ahead to the next one and persist the cursor. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Basically, I only want to process the successful, and if I encounter a failed page, I want to halt and just whatever transactions were processed in that sync update. That's where I'm going to basically persist that into the database and say, okay, we synced transactions up until this cursor. The next time we sync, we'll just start from that cursor. So that's where we'll say, if any of this fails, if that fails, we'll break. If that doesn't fail, we'll break. Otherwise, we will do account dot update cursor, or let's do set cursor, and this will be response dot next cursor, like that. Then we'll add all the transactions. And then we'll save. Yeah, I think I want to save after we process each account is what I want to do. There's probably an argument for waiting until we process all the accounts, but okay, set cursor. That doesn't exist yet, so let's generate that method. Oh, the cursor though is on the metadata. So it really needs to be plaid account metadata. Set cursor. Then we'll do, let's see, cursor equals cursor. Oops, next cursor. Yeah, that'll work. Really, and also this should never get called. If you try to call this with a null value, we should throw. Actually, null or white space, we should throw. Because it should only be null. It should only be null. There we go. And we should probably do, let's see, name of next person. All right. I think that looks good. Now let's try to test it. Yeah? Hopefully nothing blows up. Famous last words. Very late, but here nonetheless. Well, good to see you, Blackfire. I'm glad you made it. Mason, I removed Copilot suggestion. It feels good, man. Yeah, I did too, and it does feel good. It feels like the more I spend time coding and pretending like AI doesn't exist, the better I feel while I'm coding. Which you can call me a Luddite for that, and I just don't really care. Is it okay if I give you this philosophical question? Sure, send it on over. They said it's still a few years off, but they have two experiment teams working with it right now. They had no statistics or measurements showing the added value, but I agree they could make it work. I'd have to pivot to becoming a technical business analyst or something to stay relevant at that company. Yeah, I'm not sure what the right pivot would be. I think for me, I would just try to find another type of work or in a field that I feel equally kind of interested or as passionate about. You know, if I had to pivot, I mean, I'm fine with being a wrangler of agents in the meantime. Like, if I have to work in some dystopian future world where I spend 40 hours a week just talking to agents all day, I'm okay with that. But I think the whole time that I'm doing that, I'm going to be looking to try to make a career change because I just don't want to do that for the next 20 years. Emperor Grizzly War just started near my home. Oh man, be safe. Yeah, be safe, dude. That's crazy. James, what's going on 17? Oh, this might not even be the same class. Sorry, I missed your comment. Gunhighs, you know what, Steven? I really do admire you that you're so consistent with all your work, your streams, your productivity. Waking up before 4:30 a.m. and progress is impressive as fuck. Well, I don't, the thing is like I don't really know how much progress I make every day, but I just kind of believe that, like it's like this. It's like the shirt says, "Small steps climb mountains." Like I really believe that. So I think a lot of things that you want to accomplish in life just come from sustained, persistent effort over a long period of time. But you are here almost every day. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do. I am consistent. It's like I make little bits of progress every day. You know, it's not like I'm not sitting down and like vibe coding a whole SaaS platform, but I am making progress slowly but surely, and I'm having fun doing it, which I think is what I enjoy, what I care about the most at this point. All right, so let's go to the web. Okay, now I want to remove this. I want to remove that real quick. Hold on. So let's do institution. Is the live stream a motivation? I mean, it helps. I mean, the thing is the live stream really, the streams really came about out of being consistent with coding, right? So like every day I was already spending like 2 to 4 hours a day working on things. And so then one day I was just like, well, I'm already here at the desk. Let me just turn the camera on, right? And so now it almost was the opposite. It was like the consistent time spent coding was the excuse to live stream, right? Because it's like, well, if I'm already going to be here for 2 or 3 hours anyways, might as well turn on the camera and stream it, right? I mean, I'm not doing anything terribly interesting, but maybe somebody else will enjoy hanging out, and working on their projects with me. Okay, cool. Now let's go back over here. We shouldn't have any institutions anymore. All right, let's add the institution. Continue. Let's see. What was it? Platypus? First. It's like first platypus bank. First platypus bank. Try Helium browser. Okay. What's good about the Helium browser? What's this? That was weird. User pass. Oops, no, this is supposed to be user good. Pass good. Continue. Finish without saving. All right, so let's see if this works. So what this should do is this should add an account, but it should push all the transaction syncing into the queue. So let's add checking, and then if we're lucky, if we did everything right, we hopefully will see some structured logs here that says processing sync update for item PQ such and such, and then we successfully processed a sync update for that. So it looks like it worked. So if we look at our database now, hopefully we're going to find that we have our account, which is good. And then in our metadata, Do we? Yeah, we have our cursor. Cool. Now we don't have any transactions, but that's because I don't know how to actually get transaction data to show up. But that works. And then let's manually fire a webhook and just make sure that that works as well. So we'll get our account ID really quick. Copy. Put that there. Save that. We gotta log in. Send it. And then look at our trace. Okay, so something happened here. This said failed to sync transactions for request. No corresponding account received. Okay, I think that's a bug in our code. People would hate watching my screen, LOL. I hop back and forth between windows and tabs so often everyone would get mad at me. Well, I guess maybe then that's a good thing that I'm so slow. Let's see, no bloat plus best privacy right now, default ad blockers among others. Oh, cool. A perfect sweet spot, not gonna lie. Okay, cool. I'll add it to the list of things to look at. Fly Fisher. That's what she said. That always, when people make jokes like that, it always reminds me of The Office. That's what she said. Okay, so that error, that log, what does that log say? That log says failed to sync transactions for this particular request for this account. No corresponding account received in plaid response. That seems weird to me. Well, I guess it's not weird if there's no updates, right? Because we made a response with a cursor. Okay, let's try to log this would kind of be interesting to debug. But I think what's happening is there's no update for that account. So it's just an empty response. Which actually isn't a failure, it just means like it's really not a failure. Did not sync transactions. No. Well, hold on. Before we do that, let's confirm that I am actually right. So let's do I wish there was a way. Let's just do I logger.log information. Request. Oh no, sorry. Response. Let's actually do do that. Let's restart the application really quick. It's already 7. It's 7, and I only drank 1 cup of coffee on stream, man. It's not about being slow or fast. It's my bad memory. I feel like people who are fast though can move between windows and tabs to accomplish a lot of work quickly. View structured logs. Okay, then we're gonna trigger the same webhook again. Send. Okay, here we go. Here's our response. So let's take a gander. Yeah, so it's just empty, is why it has an issue. So we should probably look at this, huh? We should probably look at this update, this status update. They're giving us information back in the response that we could use to inform our code what to do. We should probably look at that. Let's see. The description of the update status for transaction pulls of an item. This field contains the same information provided by transaction webhooks. May be helpful for webhook troubleshooting or recovering from missed webhooks. Oh, that's because it's
Kelsey
coming
says,
from.
Shh. Be careful. Don't look behind you.
That's so creepy. For someone who doesn't like to be scared, why do you like to scare me? Also, good morning. Mason, moving fast and accurate is hard. It is hard. It's the holy grail. It's the holy grail. Response dot transaction update status. Oh. So I guess it's not, that's actually not helpful. So what else can we key off of? I guess we could just say instead of this, we could say if plaid account, or sorry, if response dot what dot accounts dot any is false, then we can just log an informational that says logger.log information. We can say no transactions to sync for request ID for account ID. And then we'll say account now I'm always listening. Now I'm like listening for every little sound. Maybe I need to flip my desk around so it's not, my back isn't facing towards the door. That would probably help. Let's see. Count ID. And then I guess break or continue? I don't know. This is the problem with APIs, is you never really know. Go ahead and ask your question, man. Fire away. Let them fly. How much weight do you think is the minimum for sentience? I have no idea what that question means. I have no idea what that question means. Are you talking about like human, like actual weight, like the measurement of gravity acting on your mass? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about a different kind of weight? Because that would mean sentience would be defined differently based on different gravitational circumstances and different masses. What is the minimum? How much is the minimum mass? Okay, I don't think you know what you're talking about. That sentence isn't even a full sentence. Oh yeah, mass and weight are two different things. Yeah, weight is a measurement of gravity acting on mass. I do know. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I've never that question has never come up before, ever. So I don't know. Okay, I think I'm just gonna break, man. I don't see it. I can't come up with a scenario where accounts would be empty on one page but be filled on the next page. So I'm just gonna break here. So this is expected, right? Which is why we're logging it with information. This is something we should be alerted to, so we're warning. This is something we should be alerted to, so we're warning, because this doesn't really make sense, right? This should never happen, and if it does, something funky's going on. This could happen, and when it does, we just want to be aware of it. This is expected to happen, so we just want to log an information warning. but we're only ever going to advance our cursor. We're only ever going to advance our cursor when a response is successful and there are transactions to be processed. We will process them. That's the only time we will advance the cursor. Okay. Let's see. To do.
Did we just become best friends?
Fadika, thank you for subbing. I appreciate that. So there's a figure using physics. Approximately something, something, something operations per second per joule is the maximum amount we can get. From this, we can get a rough estimate. Throbbing, I think you might be a bot. I think you might be a bot, man, because I don't know if anything you're saying makes much sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's see. Handle modified. To do handle response dot removed. All right, I'm happy with the progress you made this morning. We didn't really do terribly much, but I think it makes more sense with the way we're approaching the application and the logic. So basically all the logic for syncing transactions and updating account balance happens in one place, whether it's when you're initially adding an account or when we're receiving a webhook from Plaid. Either way, it happens in the same central place. Okay, we're still up. Send that webhook now. So send. Oh, whoops. I gotta refresh my token. Yeah, here we go. So we said we're processing sync updates from item whatever. No transactions for sync request for account. Successfully process sync updates for item. Nice, very cool. And so what I'd like to do is I'd also like to create a trace for this. Every time we sync transactions, we should have a trace, and that trace should show us the call. We actually should be able to connect the trace in the background processor to whatever kicked it off on the front end, whether it was a webhook or it was adding an account. So that would be nice to be able to see here too. All right, I want coffee and some food, so I think that's it for me this morning. Mason, check this out, bro. What? Tell me. Throbbing, I'm just vibing. I just want to chill and watch with you. Yeah, man, feel free to chill. I just don't know what you're saying. How does what I said not make sense? You want me to give you the name or want me to misspell a word or something? I don't know. No, I'm saying I don't know what approximately 6.0365 times 10 to the 33rd power operations per second per joule. I don't even know what that is, so I don't know what that number reflects and where you got it. And I don't know how that relates to your question about what is the minimum mass for sentience. Yeah, again, it seems like the ramblings of a madman. Text-to-speech only works for Kelsey, unfortunately. She's the only one I trust, because she's my wife, not to run roughshod over the text-to-speech functionality. She also gets a unique speaking voice. Alright. I'm done streaming for the day. I'm out of here. Throbbing, you know E equals MC squared? Yes, I do know that. We just used that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man. I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about. I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, I'm done for the day. Let's see. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, my schedule is 4:15 to 7 a.m. most mornings, Monday through Sunday. You are all welcome. If you'd like to come back and hang out outside of streams, the best place to find us is Discord, which I'll drop the link to that in the chat. It's discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Yeah, and you're always welcome to join in there if you feel so inclined. Throbbing, I'm sorry. I will talk keyboards next time. You talk whatever you want, man. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. I just want you to know that I'm not responding because not following along. You're leaving me in the middle of installing Arch. Good luck, Duck Boy. See you, man. All right, guys. See you, Caffeinated Minds. Bye, Five Fisha. Bye, Mason. Bye, Throbbing. Nice username. I don't know how many times I'll be able to say that. All right, bye, guys. Have a good day. Appreciate y'all. Bye. See y'all.